Now, that sets the perfect stage for today's hearing, at which, as I told you, they treated Matt Taibbi and Michael Shellenberger basically like as traitors. It's extraordinary. They treated them as criminals. And to Democratic members of Congress, they are criminals. And the reason they're criminals is because they exposed the crimes of the most important allies of the Democratic Party, the CIA, Homeland Security, the FBI, and Big Tech, in the mission that the Democratic Party considers central to their future viability, namely the power to censor the internet. And it is the US government that is acting as the key agent in coercing this. And they know this is unconstitutional. They know that the US government cannot indirectly through pressure censor in a way the Constitution would forbid them from censoring directly under the First Amendment. They know that Americans would find all of this objectionable and dangerous, that the FBI and the CIA and Homeland Security, which we're told are here to protect us from foreign threats, instead are directly involved in our politics by deciding what we as American citizens, which viewpoints we can and can't hear, or who will and will not be permitted to have a platform online. So they wanted this all in secret. It's the same reason why Julian Assange is in a prison, why Edward Snowden's in exile, why Daniel Ellsberg almost spent his life in prison. Anyone who exposes the secret crimes of the US security state becomes the enemy of politicians, because politicians support these agencies and want this hidden and not exposed. And what Taibbi did was expose it, and that's why this rage that we're about to show you that got directed at him all day, only from Democrats, that's where it comes from. That's what accounts for it, is that they want all of this hidden. Now, let's take a look at this first
Mr. Chairman.
This first video here. This is from Stacey Plaskett. She, for some reason, is the ranking member of this committee, even though she's not even really a member of Congress. She's a delegate from the Virgin Islands. She's not even officially a member of Congress. She can't vote on any bills. There's barely anything she can do except sit in committees like this and pontificate. And she spent the day lecturing Taibbi, accusing him of all sorts of things while barely letting him speak, all while liberal idiots in the media like Aaron Rupert and others cheered as though she had done something courageous and brave. Imagine sitting up at a podium where the only power you have as a delegate from the Virgin Islands is that you get to use the 7 minutes you get however you want, and you use it to basically accuse journalists of being liars and threats and fraudsters, and then when they go and try and defend themselves, you interrupt them and say, you do not speak. You just sit there while I berate you and hector you and try and ruin your reputation. Imagine applauding something this abusive, this pathetic and cowardly. But that's what happened all day. So let's listen to why they're so enraged with these journalists.
Mr. Chairman, I'm not exaggerating when I say that you have called before you two witnesses who pose a direct threat to people who oppose them.
She said that Matt Taibbi and Michael Shellenberger are, quote, direct threats to people who oppose them. Do you remember for 4 years when we would hear that anyone criticizing Jim Acosta or Taylor Lorenz were putting these people in danger? What is this doing to Matt Taibbi and Michael Shellenberger? Having this delegate who looks and tries to act as if she's a member of Congress, labeling these journalists a direct threat to those people who oppose them. And in what conceivable way are they direct threats? What did they do other than expose the US security state and big tech, the most powerful actors in the country? But this was the tenor of the entire hearing. Let's look at another clip from this delegate from the Virgin Islands.
And to praise him for his work. This isn't just a matter of what data was given to these so-called journalists before us now. There are many legitimate questions about where Musk got the financing to buy Twitter. We know for a fact that foreign countries like Qatar...
Okay, so first of all, she's trying to imply that Elon Musk did something nefarious because he got funding from foreign sources. she obviously doesn't know. I really would be shocked if she knew. Sometimes when people lie, you wonder if they actually know and are lying on purpose, or if they're just too ignorant to have known. I'd bet any amount of money in her case it's the latter. She has no idea that long before Elon Musk bought Twitter, some of the biggest shareholders in Twitter were Saudis and other foreign investors and foreign financiers. The second largest shareholder of Twitter before Elon Musk bought it, after Jack Dorsey, was a Saudi billionaire. No one pretended to be concerned about that then. Now that Elon Musk is allowing free speech and refusing to censor on behalf of the Democratic Party, she wants to impugn Elon Musk too. But do you notice how she called Matt Taibbi and Michael Schellenberger so-called journalists? Not real journalists, so-called journalists. Now I'm about to show you Taibbi's answer, which was actually quite humble about why he should not be called a so-called journalist, but in fact a journalist. But the ironic part about all of this is that she is a so-called member of Congress. She's not a member of Congress, actually. She has no constitutional standing to do anything. The Congress decided to give them fake representation. The District of Columbia, the Virgin Islands, a couple other places. And now she sits up there lecturing journalists, trying to incite violence against journalists, even though she is not even a real member of Congress. She's the so-called member of Congress. Here was Taibbi's response.
That time was spent at Rolling Stone magazine. Ranking Member Plaskett, I'm not a so-called journalist. I've won the National Magazine Award, the I.F. Stone Award for Independent Journalism, and I've written 10 books, including 4 New York Times bestsellers. I'm not.
So, in other words, Matt Taibbi spent years as the star investigative reporter at Rolling Stone. He uncovered some of the worst abuses of the derivative fraud that led to the 2008 financial crisis. He has won all of the most prestigious awards in magazine writing, including the National Magazine Award. And he's written 10 books on news and politics. In other words, he has so many more accomplishments than she has votes to even sit there. And yet she spent the day trying to impugn his integrity, having no interest in what he reported. And you see as well how after she got done deriding him, when he was finally given a chance to respond, not by her, but by Jim Jordan, the chair of the committee, she just ignored him. How infantile is that? You throw insults at somebody in public, and then when they try in a very civil manner, substantive and civil manner, far better than she deserved, explain to you why the insult that you hurled is inaccurate, you turn away and you look at your phone and you chatter with the lawyer who's telling you what to say. But that's how this hearing was conducted. Now let's look at some of the... Thanks for watching this clip from System Update. Catch our full shows for free, live weekdays at 7 p.m. Eastern on Rumble, and join our locals community at greenwald.locals.com for all of my written journalism, exclusive after-show Q&As, and more.